Hello. What is our first main topic today?
Main topic number 1 comes to us from Amin, who says, "Hello, crew. Happy Monday. This weekend marked the 3-year anniversary of Disney Plus, and since then, we've gotten a lot of good and some bad, depending on who you ask. Looking back and seeing how the service launched and where it is today, what are some of the biggest wins and losses that Disney Plus has had? How has the streaming service performed, and what do you think Disney needs to do moving forward to make it even better? Thanks, and bring on the filthy."
All right, Amin, thanks a lot for saying that in. And yeah, it was over the weekend was the 3rd anniversary since Disney Plus launched. I still remember being at D23 a couple of years ago when they were handing out all the hats and Disney Plus swag and really pumping the promotion of the show. And it launched with Mandalorian and then nothing for a long time. But now it seems like new premium content, whether it's Marvel or Star Wars, is popping out all the time, coming out on there. So let's take a minute here and let's look at what has come out. We're going to mainly focus on Star Wars and the MCU because let's face it, that's what everybody goes to Disney Plus for who's not going for the library of the classic Disney content, but that's what they're going there for. So let's take a look at what they've had out here. Let's take a review here, shall we? So let's go into the Campea Classroom. And when we look at what they've put out for Star Wars, it's already been a lot of stuff. We, of course, have had The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Tales of the Jedi, which just came out, Bad Batches season 1 and 2, Star Wars Resistance season 1 and 2, although a little bit of question mark on that. Was that Disney Plus? I can't remember for sure. I put it on there just to cover my bases. All right, then we, of course, had Star Wars Visions, and obviously right now we've got Andor. On the Marvel side, we've had WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, imagine going back a few years before we knew Disney Plus was coming and being told that Disney's has its own TV service coming and it's going to have these shows. WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Werewolf by Night, and What If. That would excite you a lot. Now, there are some hits and misses in all of these. I mean, you look at, for hits, obviously you're looking at Mandalorian, you're looking at Andor, you're looking at WandaVision, you're looking at a few things like that. Yeah, Ray.
Can I just give a shout out, since it's just Star Wars and Marvel, that my most favorite thing that I've seen on Disney Plus is Turning Red. That's probably my favorite thing. So just a shout out to that movie.
Should
have been released in theaters.
Which should have been a theatrical release because that sold as well. But we're going to get more into the Pixar and Disney stuff about things. But that's a great thing to shout out. Okay. So I'm going to talk here for a second about what I would say are the top 5 things. Notwithstanding things like Turning Red, which was fantastic and it should have been theatrical. But out of all these things we would talk about here, here's my top 5 of what Disney Plus has done, celebrating its 3rd anniversary. Going to start with Werewolf by Night. I really enjoyed Werewolf by Night. I didn't think it was like the instant masterpiece that some people think it is, but I was very pleasantly surprised by it. I love the kind of angle they took on it, the kind of style that they gave it that doesn't necessarily fit with a lot of the rest of the MCU, but that's one of the things that I found so refreshing about it, and I really, really enjoyed about it. All right, at number 4, Mandalorian season 2. I'm going to say is next up at number 4. I know it's kind of, I didn't know where to put Mandalorian, whether to put a 1 or 2 in the top 5. I love both the seasons, but Mandalorian season 2, absolutely loved. At number 3, I'm going Ms. Marvel. I confess, I like this show more than most people did, but I was instantly won over by the charm of that show. And every single week I salivated to get back and hang out with that family more. I could have watched, that's the great thing about Ms. Marvel. Take out all the Marvel elements. Take out all the superhero elements. If that show was nothing but a half hour every week of just seeing this family interact together around their living room, I would have been hooked on it anyway. Then you added all the other elements into it. I thought it was freaking brilliant. I loved it. For me, number 2, right now, it feels weird to put it on there because it hasn't finished yet, but Andor. I think Andor is hands down the best Star Wars thing they put out, even better than Mandalorian, and you know how much I love Mandalorian. But Andor is just next level television. It's the first non-Disney Plus feeling show that they put on Disney Plus. Because this show feels like an HBO show to me. So for me, it's going to be Andor. And at number 1, no surprise here, WandaVision.
You're going to do Boba Fett.
What's that? Yeah, no, it's surprising, right, that I didn't put Book of Boba Fett on that. It's totally a shock. Or Obi-Wan.
Oh my gosh.
I would have sworn I would have put Obi-Wan on there. But no, WandaVision to me continues to be the gold standard. But I'll tell you what, Andor, you ask me in a year, ask me after Andor finishes his last 2 episodes. It's possible Andor might even supplant WandaVision for me as the best thing that they put out on Disney Plus so far. So anyway, that's my particular list. Werewolf by Night, super impressive to me. Mandalorian Season 2, Ms. Marvel, Andor, and WandaVision. That's for me. The holidays are officially upon us, and it's time to start celebrating. Do your thing and holiday your way with MeUndies. Because it's the most wonderful time of the year to try MeUndies, because they're currently offering a very merry deal. Get 20% off your first purchase with free standard shipping and free returns when you go to MeUndies.com/Campea. Guys, you know I've been wearing MeUndies for a while now because I used to be like everybody else. I would go to the big store, buy the biggest box of the most generic underwear, and I thought that was good enough. But ever since I started MeUndies and started wearing the most comfortable underwear I have ever worn in my life, I swear on this Christmas season, I will never go back. So get your holiday shopping finished early and start making time for yourself with the new MeUndies holiday collection. Their undies, long underwear, and sleepwear are made out of the softest, most supple fabric you've ever felt and are guaranteed to bring you comfort and joy to all of your loved ones. Shop their classic plaid prints for a traditional, picture-perfect style, or get festive with their adventurous limited edition sweater prints. Available in sizes extra small all the way through 4XL, MeUndies has what you need to make all of your favorite people smile this holiday season, all in one convenient place. So to get 20% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea. Rob, as you look back now, we've celebrated 3 years of Disney Plus. What to you stands out as your favorite things that they put on the service so far?
Well, I think like you, it's probably Andor, but I think your list speaks to a problem that I think Disney Plus has. When I walk into my room at night, Elizabeth is watching stuff on Netflix that's wildly diverse. Sometimes it's the Great British Baking Show. I didn't realize Taylor stars in a new show called The Big Brunch. I was watching that last night. There's a drink show. Then I'll watch Stranger Things. There is a diversity of programming on a Netflix that I love to watch. All different kinds of things. Documentaries, foreign shows like Germany's Dark. That list that you just put up shows that the only things that I'm interested in on Disney Plus are Marvel and Star Wars shows. I've tried, like, I like the Jeff Goldblum series. I think.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, I don't quite like.
I like that show. I thought it was good. It was fun to watch. It was like, what's Jeff Goldblum interested in? Like, I like that show. And there was there's the Will Smith. I don't know if that's on Nat Geo, but
that's part of Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus. So that's on there too. I mean, I like stuff like that.
The Chris Hemsworth one.
The Chris Hemsworth, what I haven't seen, but I want to see it. So the Star Wars and MCU stuff, I'm going to watch. What Disney Plus needs is diversification in their programming. I think if they want more subscribers, they want to retain their subscribers. Right now, I think they're leaning too heavily on their marquee items because they got us. You know when they say, well, the nerds are going to show up anyway. They're going to be there opening day. That's kind of what Disney Plus has. I just wish they had more because I feel myself only going there to watch these shows.
But can an argument be made that that is by design? Because unlike Netflix or unlike Paramount Plus, Disney has several streaming services where they put out other content, like their Sons of Anarchy stuff and things like that on FX, on Hulu. So they kind of have that. So I wonder if it's fair. And I don't, this isn't a rhetorical question. I mean this honestly. I wonder if it's fair to judge on that when they do put out that other type of content just on a different one of their streaming services.
Well, I find it interesting. They're leaning into Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You know, they're going out and they're getting like, I'm very interested in that. And
so excited.
I am too. And they're putting more money into that. I mean, I would love to see Disney Plus do more programming. Look, they got me, but the problem is I only go there once when I never go back and rewatch stuff. And I would like to see more on Disney Plus beyond that. And I think that would only benefit their service because when they do shows like that Jeff Goldblum show, I like them. They're beautifully made, really well produced, really interesting. They have an interesting take. And I just know that the way I feel about like Netflix or HBO Max, you know, I got home really late last night and I had to wait to upload this file, and it was going to take 2 hours. I watched Spotlight on HBO Max. Don't know why. I just had, okay, you know, I had to sit there and watch the thing anyway, and I just liked that it was there. You know, and I would like to see more of that on, who knows what you'll find on these streaming services, and that's half the fun.
Best horror movie, in my opinion, is Spotlight.
Yeah, that movie will shake you. Anyway,
my mom was part of that archdiocese.
We are now 3 years into Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. When you look at it, what are the things that really stand out to you that have been their biggest successes for you?
I mean, I love your list, but gosh, the animated properties are so lovely. And obviously, I've got a bias there. I love Disney. I was an intern for them. I go to that park as often as I can. I love them. And there's just such magic in like all of the Pixar films. I watch Luca probably once a month. You all know I like to do an eat-along with movies. So I make the trinetta al pesto, and then we watch the movie, and it's real cute. And I'm like, oh, yay, the 16th century Genoa pasta. This is so good. I really loved Turning Red, like Ray. I think that movie was great. But the thing that stands out to me about that, though, is the disrespect. Like, Bob Chapek has made some boneheaded moves, but not doing theatrical releases for these wonderful animated films cost him so much money. And if Turning Red had been out in theaters, if Luca had been out in theaters, if Raya had been out in theaters, and I know we had the pandemic, right? We had to figure out how we were doing things.
Yep.
But if they did a re-release of these two, I would have my butt in the El Capitan right away. I would love to go see them. So I think there's been some missteps when we have what goes to Disney streaming first. I love that Jeff Goldblum show too. I think that's really, really fun.
Well, they've done more things too outside of that, like going into, like, as we move beyond just the Star Wars and the Marvel stuff, you look at things like Light and Magic.
That was amazing.
Right? Light and Magic was absolutely fantastic.
And the Imagineering documentary.
The Imagineering documentary, that sort of stuff that is, you know, very much Disney-centric and Disney-focused, but still, it's really good. Then, of course, then we move beyond that and we look at the stuff like the stuff they released. Soul, by the way. None of us have mentioned Soul. Soul was wonderful.
Yeah.
Turning Red, I thought, was absolutely magnificent.
They even had the documentary before the movie of the boys that got stuck in the cave. I think it was called The Cave. Was it called The Cave? Something like that. Because Amazon had the movie, again? But before that, Disney actually had
the documentary on it. And it was, I can't remember what it might have been called, The Cave. But let's also then look past that to what truly is, I think, the strongest part and the most appealing part of Disney Plus, which is their catalog.
Yeah.
Because then you're talking about Pixar, Disney Animation, all the old MCU, and listen, you may only go on there when there's the new Andor, right? I got to admit, I'm going on there a lot more lately. Like, I'm going into my theater room and I'm popping on Shang-Chi, or I'm watching the first Iron Man, or I'm going back and watching a little bit of, I want to see that final space battle in Return of the Jedi, or I want to do, and their library continues to be, I think, the main selling point to families.
I agree. Totally agree. If you're a family, you have to have it.
Yeah, I think it's a must have.
And if they buy like new properties, right? Those obviously will go on there. Like, imagine if they actually bought all of Dragon Ball, then all of that will go up there.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, I know
I'm just saying, like, there's opportunity for not even just Disney stuff. Whatever they purchase, they could put on there, or it could go on Hulu, right? So they have Hulu.
I just don't see them needing to buy a lot of content because they create so much.
Although I got to tell you, I just pre-ordered this Guy King, which is a Japanese super robot series from the 70s, and I kind of wish that Disney Plus had all those. Like, and a lot of their old, like, they've got the Walt Disney World, the Wonderful World of Disney, but a lot of their documentaries and stuff, they could put more on that. Because it's a standard def, they don't. But I could see them doing more. I don't think that would appeal to a lot of people. But
right. But then we start looking at the future for Disney Plus, because one of the things they were asking about, where do they go from here? I honestly think it is inevitable that Hulu will merge in with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of markets, they don't have Hulu, so they put it on something, what do they call it? Star
Plus. Yeah.
And they just include that as a section on Disney Plus. So in a lot of international markets, you get all your Hulu and FX content in the Disney Plus app anyway, under a different section.
Yeah.
And while I really love Hulu, I think it is pretty inevitable that at some point, I don't know that it's going to be this year. I don't know that it's going to be next year, maybe 2024, maybe 2025. But I do think it's inevitable that they're going to follow their international approach here, and that Hulu is just going to become a section on Disney Plus. Maybe age restrict that one section a little bit. So maybe you got to put in a secondary adult password or something to watch it.
Yeah.
But because that would address the issue that you brought up, right? About having that more diversification of content, the different types of stories, maybe some of the more adult fare. that could then go on there and it would make it something of a powerhouse. Anyway, guys, question is for you. We are 3 years into Disney Plus right now. They've had a lot of success. They've also had some stumbles. What stands out to you about the things you've really loved about Disney Plus? What are some things they need to do to improve moving forward? I don't know, maybe not charging the same price for regular Disney Plus for their ad-supported one. That could be a start. Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.